It doesn't, this new screen doesn't go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It says I'm live. I'm live. I'm alive. Not really. I don't know. I need to put the chat. The comments are up, so that's good. I'm just kind of talking to people so that before people jump on. We'll get situated with what the things are coming up. Okay. Well, welcome. Happy last Tuesday in May, and welcome again if you're new here. Welcome to our live show that we call the HAMCO Roundabout. Essentially, we go around an imaginary roundabout and talk about all things Hamilton County, Indiana. We'll probably talk about like fun things happening in town, events to take the kids to, new businesses popping up, new roundabouts going in, and then lastly, we're also going to talk about the real estate market, so that if you are considering moving to the area or even just moving from one area to the next, that you kind of have a snippet of what's going on. So that's kind of what our show is about. Today, specifically, though, I'm excited to announce that we're getting a water park. Yay. Also, Dora, which is, well, I'll explain what that is when we get into the show, but it's coming to Carmel and what makes living in Hamilton County extra special. So, we're going to talk about a couple different things. We're also going to talk about a new fun addition to Fishers that will be a kind of fun, free activity to enjoy. And why is everyone talking about a new gas station that apparently is now in Noblesville? And as always, we're going to go over again how the market is moving, what it looks like. We're going to do something a little bit different today, so hang in there. And then please make sure to leave a comment or a question in the comment section. I want to know kind of what you're thinking. If you have questions, please ask them. There's never, even like I tell clients all the time, there's never a wrong or bad question. Ultimately, a question is a question. And if you're thinking it, then probably somebody else is thinking it. And I also want you to call me out when I say something wrong, because at the end of the day, I am human. And I apparently have this issue of saying things where even a couple weeks ago when we did this live video, on the screen it said one number, but my brain apparently says something different. Maybe I have a little bit of dyslexia. Yes, I am ADD, so that probably plays into it. But tell me when you catch me when I'm wrong. That way anybody else who is watching can actually know what I meant by what I was saying. And then as we jump into this, please tell me where you're watching from. I kind of like to see where people are from, where you're from. And even to a certain extent, I would love to even know why you're looking at Hamilton County, because that's how we get better. That's how I get better, to kind of understand and be able to guide in the right way. So there you have it. There's the intro to today's roundabout. Okay. First off, we are going to, the first topic of the day is a water park, you guys. There was back, and I don't even know how many years ago this was, along 37, there was originally a golf course. So this is Fishers on 37, State Road 37. There was a golf course. Well, that golf course was looking at selling the land. It actually was the same owners who own Reynolds Farm Equipment. They owned that golf course. And they were talking about different options as to what that can be. Now, if you know what it is now, it's currently, essentially, it is strip malls, kind of like all along. Of course, there's also car dealerships and all that. Okay. So at the end of the day, it's all built up. But before that time, there was rumor on the street that there was going to be a water park, which I thought was amazing. I think actually a lot of people talked about how the reason they didn't like it or they didn't want it is because there was a school right by there and they didn't want the traffic or they just didn't want, well, the traffic. And so I was bummed because that's like right around the corner from where I live. So I was really excited about getting a water park. Well, finally, I don't know how many years, let's call it 20 years later, we're finally getting a water park. It's not in Fishers. I am going to pull up the document or the web. And you guys, I'm also getting used to this system. So bear with me when, because I actually don't remember how to add share screen. There we go. I'm awfully quiet when I'm trying to figure this out because I can't figure it out. Okay, here we go. It is a developer that is planning a resort water park in Hamilton County. It is still Hamilton County. That's why it's still part of the HAMCO roundabout. It's not in Fishers. It's going to be in Sheridan. So Sheridan officials are considering a proposal by a Carmel-based real estate development firm to build a $100 million resort water park along US 31 in the northern Hamilton County community. Monarch Ventures LLC, a division of Circle Property, blah, 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 blah. You can read it. I wanted to get to the point of what's going in. Would be an all-season nature-based entertainment park with a 6-acre man-made lake with water slides and inflatable obstacle course, kayaks, floating cabanas, and a splash pad. A treetop canopy experience with rope courses and challenge courses, mini golf and disc golf courses, a 400-foot-long year-round tubing hill. Okay, come on now. That sounds amazing. And indoor and outdoor activity spaces for private and corporate events. The developers expect the park to attract over 500 visitors per year. Now, this is on the border of Sheridan and Westfield. And so one of the things we're going to talk about is Sheridan today, which I'm going to kind of talk about a little bit here and there because it is a really small city / town. It's not even a city yet. It's a town, super tiny. But I think that that's where a lot of people are moving to. And it was funny because I was watching a Instagram reel the other day. There was a guy that is here local that does Instagram like interviews. He has a podcast essentially, and he interviews local business owners. And he interviewed Estridge Homes and the builder, custom home builder, not custom, just traditional builder. Woo, Cameron, I need coffee, but I don't want coffee because it makes me all jittery. Anyways, Estridge, he asked the question, where do you think that is kind of the next hidden gem or hidden area? Where are you looking as a developer to build houses? And he said Sheridan. And I've been saying it for a little bit. The little outside, right? You have Hamilton County, which is the 4, which, oh, look at that. It gives you little hearts. That was fun. Or at least on my screen, it gave little hearts. And then now we're frozen. Are we frozen? We're completely frozen. The hearts said it. Can you still hear me? Okay. Well, that's weird. Didn't that happen last time where the screen froze and we were frozen for the rest of the show? I'm going to stop the screen share, but that doesn't do anything.
Yourself.
How do I do that?
You click on yourself. Say okay. Then
nope. It's frozen. I'm fixing my lips.
Other than kill it and restart it.
Can you unplug the camera? Would that stop it?
Okay. Well, that's I don't know what to do.
Let me. Yep. Nope. It's now going and it still shows that it's live. So I don't know if you can still see that it's going. So it picked it back up. It's weird. Okay, well, I guess we're back. That was weird. Don't know what's going on. Okay. So we were talking about Sheridan, and we're going to have to do some research on this StreamYard. So sorry about that, guys. But anyways, I've said for a long time that I've thought that Sheridan was one of those areas where it is up and coming because you have the main bubble, right? You have Noblesville, Westfield, Carmel, and Fishers, right? And so because of those areas, I have this feeling that ultimately that is going to be an area that is going to be really strong. You have Lebanon, Cicero, Sheridan, like that whole upper area, and then Pendleton, and then if you go further west. So just something to keep in mind. And anyways, we're getting a water park. I'm so excited. It's about it, ultimately you only have to drive like 20 to 30 minutes to get to it. So it's a little bit further out, but at the same time, instead of having to drive all the way to, say, Cincinnati to go to a water park, especially like an outdoor water park, I know it's not going to be like a theme park, but I think it's going to have a lot of really nice things that's going to be great here for Hamilton County. Okay, next up is, close that. The next topic is Dora. Dora is coming to Carmel, Indiana. So let's share the screen. Okay, this is DORA, which if you're not familiar, it stands for Designated Outdoor Refreshment Area. And so Westfield has done this. It's really great. Carmel just accepted it. Noblesville has one as well. And then maybe, just maybe, Carmel or Fishers will wise up and they'll have one as well. But it's super exciting. The city of Carmel announced that its new designated outdoor refreshment area, DORA, will open on Friday, May 23rd, which that was this last weekend, which is really great for Memorial Day weekend. Everybody could kind of walk around and essentially you can carry a beer around. And it kind of gives you the designated area. So let me go back. Westfield, Carmel is joining two other cities, Westfield, Noblesville, and establishing areas in which patrons can purchase alcoholic beverages from participating businesses and consume them within the DORA boundaries. Indiana authorized municipalities to create DORAs in 2023. Carmel's DORA ordinance was officially approved in July of 2024, so last year. So it took about a year. I haven't heard that Fishers has done that, so it would probably be a year out, but it will span just north of Main Street to Carmel Drive and from west of the Monon Greenway to just east of Rangeline Road. So I think it's pretty awesome. Their hours are Monday through Thursday, 5 to 10, Friday and Saturday, 11 to 11, and Sunday, 11 to 9. So they have rules, right? Open alcoholic drinks purchased from approved businesses must remain in the DORA, so that area. To get alcoholic drinks must be ordered in alcoholic drinks must be ordered in designated DORA cups. Only businesses with a DORA permit and serve to-go alcohol drinks and serve to-go alcoholic drinks in the door cups. And then participating businesses must have signs displayed in their windows. So I think it's really cool. Again, it started during Memorial Day weekend. I think it's a great way to get people out and about. If you haven't been to kind of the Carmel Arts and Design District area, it's a really great area for people to walk around. I don't know why that's up. Sorry. That's my list, you guys. That's what we're going to talk about. Just ignore it. Just ignore it. It's hilarious. I mean, I have to stay organized somehow, and it's an Excel spreadsheet. If you don't know me yet, I like Excel spreadsheets. And so that was my Excel spreadsheet that you just saw. That's my way of keeping abreast of all of the different websites and how that is. So there you go. You got a little behind the scenes, so to speak. Anyways, here is the next topic, which is the farmers markets that are going on. So about 2 to 3 weeks ago, the farmers markets opened up in Hamilton County, and this is a really great website. It's called visithamiltoncounty.com. Honestly, if you're wanting to find activities that are going on or hours, or if somebody's closing, this is a great, like if the weather is permitting, that's what I mean by if something's closing, like if they're not going to have the farmers markets. But this is a great little website to go to where you can go Carmel Farmers Market, and you can kind of see where it'll take you to their website, and then you can kind of explore their farmers market and what their dates are. So it was May 3rd to September 27th. And then they have a winter market. And then if you click, say, on the farmers market for Carmel, then it'll kind of show you all the details, how long it's been running, the vendors, and then what vendors are there. So it's a really great way to have a quick access point to all of those things, right? So you could go to Fisher's Farmers Market, and each one's going to be a little bit different. So I will say, from my experience, Carmel has a little bit more farmers, like true farmers, that come and bring their produce, partially because it's closer to Indianapolis. And so a lot of the farmers come in, and it's a dense area. So you get probably more people that are coming to the Carmel one. It's probably the biggest one. Fisher's is second. The only downside, I love Fisher's Farmers Market. I am going to say that probably the part that I don't like the most is that there aren't as many farmers. There's lots of food. So I would say the Fisher's Farmers Market, they've got some farmers with fresh produce. Yes. But I would say the majority is there's food trucks, and there are people who are selling, things that they've made. They really do. They also have like a kids weekend where kids can come, and if they've started a business or something, like they have that. So that is cool. But I am going to say the one downside, I wish when you hear farmers market, you think it's going to be a bunch of farmers with their fresh produce. It's not as much, but there's this in front of the amphitheater. You have all the area that people can have picnics, sit down. You can go get food. You can hang out with your friends. There's always like plant people there. There's always dog treat people. So it's a slew of different things. Typically, I'll get some flowers from Fisher's Flower Farm. So there's all different vendors. And so I would go to this website, and I would peruse like what each one has. Noblesville's is pretty decent. There's actually quite a few vendors that I do like there. Again, not a ton of farmers or fresh produce. And then I have to admit, I've never been to Westfields, so I can't speak to how Westfields is, but it just kind of gives you a good idea of what there is, so to speak. Okay. So let me remove that. Then the next topic is one that I actually am really excited about. we are getting a second, I say we as in like it's me, but Fishers is getting a second Agripark. The Agripark, when it first opened up, it was on the east side of Fishers. It wasn't as well known. It's actually become a really great resource or like park for families to go to. Not just families. It's really for anybody. I just say there's usually a lot of kids that are there, families that take their little kids and they pick vegetables and stuff. But we're getting a second one on the east side of Fishers. Oh, I'm getting comments. You're from Brazil. Brazil. I feel like you can't say Brazil like normal. I feel like in my world it's Brazil. Tell me if that's completely lame, but I love that. But hello, friend. Os amigos. I think that's what you said, or is what your name is. Here, I'll put it up on the screen. I don't know how to do that. Show. There you go. I love that. Hi, you guys. You can take your little guy to the Agripark. Anyways, so the Agripark, again, it was on the east side, and now they're going to open a second location on the west side to kind of, Fishers is really big when it comes to east west, and so there's a big distance. So like if you're on the far east side or far west side and you want to go to the Agripark, it's a solid 20-25 minutes. And so it's kind of nice that they're adding this in. It's going to be, as you can see, this is 106th Street, and then I think this is the airport, so I'm going to assume this is 69. That's just me looking at a aerial, but I couldn't. That's not 69. Maybe it is. I'm not sure the cross street. Maybe it'll tell us. A second Fishers Agripark is planned at 106th Street in Allisonville Road. Allisonville. That's where if you keep heading on Allisonville to 96th Street, that's when you get really pissed off at the roundabout that's at 96th Street and Allisonville Road. I'll remove that real quick. What? Adam's talking to me while I'm trying to do things, and it's hard to multitask. He was telling me it's still on the screen. You were just going to stay up as a comment for the whole show. Okay, so you can see that from this article, it kind of talks about the entrance. There's going to be a produce field, farm animals or a pasture where you can pet animals. That's what they have out on the west side. A greenhouse, which says staff only. So that's interesting. So you can't go into the greenhouse, but there's going to be a greenhouse. Solid bridge, because an unsolid bridge would not be good. So it's going to be a solid bridge. Gosh, I hope it's going to be a solid bridge. I wonder what the difference is, a solid bridge versus just a bridge. Okay. Walkout dock, native prairie plantings, wildflower field, you pick sunflowers, trail. Okay, so Os. We're just gonna call you Os. I think that's how I'm gonna say it. My dream is to buy a house in the United States, but I don't have much money yet. That's okay. It comes with time, man. Comes with time. In Orlando's amazing. If you follow Ken Pozak, he is an amazing real estate agent down in the Orlando, Florida area. I'm nowhere close to Orlando. It's a solid 22-hour drive. It is drivable. We have done it. I've done it with my family. But it is far. This Agripark is not going to be near as fun as Orlando is. But it's going to be great. They've chosen the location partially because, again, it's on the far west side. It kind of talks about, the Agripark last year saw 30,000 visitors. It produced 150 pounds of produce. And we're going to put a county store at the Fishers Agripark. That's amazing. This county store will be a consignment for farmers who want to sell their goods year round, a place for classrooms. Like it sounds, the one that they already built is again a really great location for anybody to go, not just families. I know that Fishers and or Hamilton County is really trying to make the area a family friendly area, which I think that it is. But I toured a house today that it was one of those where it's like, okay, yes, it might be for you if you have a family, but if you think outside the box and think about, okay, maybe it's for that empty nester that wants to live close to their family or live in an area that the values are going to, stay strong or increase. And so I think by doing things like this, even though it's family friendly, so to speak, more importantly, it holds its value. So we talk more about value than we do about family friendly, just because, I mean, yes, it's family friendly, but there's more to it than that, right? You don't have to be in a family. You can be a single person. There's so much activity and so much to do. We actually were talking about doing a video on the things to do if you're single, if if you do have a family, if you are an empty nester, if all the different aspects of what there is to do in the city. Send me a comment if you think that would be a good video to do. We've been kind of toying with that as, things to do if you are new here or if you're looking to look here and are wondering if it could be, but this Agripark would be an amazing addition. So I'm really excited about that. Okay. Next up, of the kind of first half of the show. So the first half, I kind of talk about, what's coming to the area, what's happening, what is there to do, so to speak. And then the second half, we kind of talk about more of the real estate side. So the last aspect, which you guys, I have to admit, I'm not really sure why this is such a big thing, but Indiana got its second Wawa. And I drive a car that doesn't need gas. So I'm not really sure I understand the hype about a Wawa. So if you are watching this and you have a Wawa in your area, I feel really weird just saying Wawa. I don't know why. I just feels really weird. But anyways, if you're also a Buc-ee's fan, I'm not a big Buc-ee's fan. But Wawa came to Indiana. It's apparently all the hype because I swear all over social media, everybody's talking about it. I would like to go to it just to kind of see, to determine if I think that it would be something that I would even remotely be interested in. It is now in Noblesville. So the convenience store is located in Noblesville near the intersection of Hazeldale and State Road 32. So 32, if you aren't familiar, well, I don't show it on my little thing up here. Technically, it's up high, but you can't see it. It's a road that really goes essentially from Noblesville all the way to Westfield, all the way to Zionsville. It's a main thoroughfare, 32 is. And so it's along there. That's one of those roads where there's probably going to be businesses along the whole route. There isn't currently. With growth, it's growing to that area. And so apparently Wawa thought that was a great spot to be. I guess it is because it's been huge. So the article goes on, the company held a grand opening, including a hoagie building competition for charity. I'm gluten-free, so hoagies are not something I eat. So that's fun. Free t-shirts to the first 250 customers and free coffee through May 25th. Well, that was 2 days ago, so we missed that vote. But Wawa is also making grants to Gleaner's Food Bank of Indiana and Riley's Children's Hospital. I love that. I love when you can kind of tie it to a philanthropic or a, nonprofit to be able to give back. So I love that. But look at this. Look how crazy this is. Look at all these people that are at the opening. So this is actually the opening in Daleville. So there's another one. Wait, the first Wawa in Indiana opened up a week earlier on Thursday, May 15th in Daleville. Yeah, that's what I thought I had read. I was like, wait, I'm questioning what I was reading. So here's a map that kind of shows you. Let's see. I wonder if I can. Okay, I can scroll out. I always wonder if I can scroll out. So this is 32 and Hazeldale. So Hazeldale goes all the way to 146th Street, which I've mentioned. Anyways, not that you guys care about that, but let me go back up here. So it's a great gateway area. There's a Meijer across the street. McDonald's, Hazeldale Elementary School, and this goes all the way to Westfield. Again, there's a Kroger down the street. One of my favorite barbecue places, Big Hoffa's is down that way. 32, I will tell you, the only downside is, so 32 is getting redone. They're widening it and fixing it. Down here in Westfield, they're making it 4-way down here, or 4 lanes, so 2 lanes going each way. So that's going to be interesting. That's probably it's going to probably take a couple years to get that all figured out. But there you go. Wawa is right next to Crew Car Wash. You can go get your car wash, then you can fill it up, and then you can go across the street to Meyer, do some grocery shopping. And there you go. And I will say, if I zoom out a little bit here, I will tell you, there's land that I am going to just say all of this land is probably going to be built up. It's going to be neighborhoods, communities, all that such. So there you go. That is Wawa. I still don't customize hoagies. A sizzly hot breakfast sandwich. I want to know, if you are a viewer of this channel, if you even know what a Wawa is, if you've ever been to a Wawa, and do you recommend going to a Wawa? I still feel really weird just saying Wawa. And I want to know who came up with the name. Like, I can't come up with a name. Let's just randomly call it Wawa. Sorry. I just feel like it's a very interesting. Oh, look, you can even click if you want a job at Wawa. I mean, it sounds pretty cool. Clearly, I mean, it's getting all the hype. So clearly it's nationwide. Here it says it's a privately held family-owned chain, has more than 1,100 convenience stores operated in 10 states and Washington, D.C. 10 states and Washington, D.C.? I'm not sure I understand that. Why not just say 11 states or 10 states? But okay, I digress. I don't even know where I was going with that, but just like reading that, it just makes me kind of like, doesn't make sense. Anyways, okay. Anyways, let's get rid of that. Okay, before we go on to kind of the next part, the second half, so to speak, I always want to kind of say a thank you for all of our viewers who watch. If you have any questions, please make sure to leave them in the questions. Of course, thank you for os, amigos. I don't speak Spanish. And so I'm probably butchering that in some sort of way, but feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. And again, there's never any wrong or bad questions. I can't confirm that I will always be able to answer all the questions, but I will do my best, so to speak. Okay. So today we're going to do something a little bit different when we talk about kind of locations and what there is. And let me close out some of these extra tabs because we don't need all the tabs open. There are a couple new roundabouts that are coming to the area. So I know we kind of talk about that on what is coming to the area so that you know, if you live here, what there is coming down the pipeline. And then that way you can have a good idea of if you're going to have traffic by your neighborhood. So this came out from the Reporter on the 25th, so a couple days ago. Roundabout construction begins at 96th Street and College Avenue. Now, this is a location that I have to admit, it really needs it. And so that's going to be a great addition to the area, to be honest. I think it's going to be a great spot to have some extra stuff. And then I already mentioned it, but I'm going to show you a little bit more so that you actually have some visuals for it. The State Road 32 expansion. So as you can see, so this is 32 right here. and then Union Street, Walnut Street, and Cherry Street. And so this is where it's going to widen. So see, you can actually see here on the video where there's only 2 lanes. They're going to widen it so there's 4 lanes. Now, right here is Phil Brewing, which is one of our, like, we really love that restaurant in Westfield. And so it'll be interesting to see how close, because this was a garden that was out front. I'm assuming it's just now going to be a walkway in front of their location, but great restaurant. There's going to be new routes that you can get to places. So you'll be able to go down Cherry Street to get to Field Brewing, Walnut Street, and then Union. And then this is Grand Junction. And so you're going to be able to actually get to that. They're trying to do quite a bit for the businesses. You can actually get this little card, which I don't know all the details. I still need to get the details of it so that I can actually speak intelligently with you about it. But you can get a little card where you can actually win free things that if you're visiting the businesses, just to try to keep the businesses going, because that's probably one of the biggest concerns that has come up with doing projects like this. It affects businesses. There's already been, when they were doing the whole area of the Grand Junction, that whole, what's going to be considered the downtown Westfield area, businesses have closed because they just couldn't sustain. Like one Bub's Burgers is going to be, they were kind of around there. Now they closed what they had and then they're moving it. And so that's one of those things where you can only control so much. And we know that at the end of the day, that's going to be huge, because Westfield's going to have the traffic to be able to take as much traffic that currently goes through, because sometimes it's gridlock. Fishers went through this with downtown Fishers. It used to be essentially one road going 2 ways instead of 2 lanes. There was 1 lane both ways, and it was awful. And I remember because I've lived here, I've done this. I've been a real estate agent for 21 years, and I've lived here for over 30. And I remember when they were doing all of the construction in downtown Fishers to widen those streets. You guys, it's a pain. It's awful, but you have to do that so that the infrastructure can be able to support all of those drivers going through the city. So that's the second roundabout and stuff that's going on. So there you go. Kind of gives you an idea of what is coming down the pipeline. Okay. So I didn't pull this up before, you guys, so I am sorry. Let me pull this up real quick. I'm going to do something a little bit different this time. So we talked about Sheridan with respect to the Waterpark coming to town. And it is going to be great. I think it's going to bring business to Sheridan. I think that it will help people that are considering moving a little bit further out. I use Chicago as an example, right? Because Chicago is ginormous. Their donut counties got full, and then it just pushes itself out. And so if you're someone who used to love Fishers when it was a small little town, well, in the 80s, it used to be a little town. There used to be like 3,000, 4,000 people. Well, that's where Sheridan currently sits. They're at like 3,500 people that live in Sheridan. Now, I'm going to talk about Sheridan schools, because this is where it gets a little complicated. Sheridan schools is not just Sheridan. There are cities around Sheridan that also feed into the school district. So let me pull this up real quick. One of my favorite people are calling me right now. Summer Hudson, I will call you later. So anyways, I want to look at some of the data. Wow, why is that so big? Give me a second, you guys, because my computer just went completely wonky. Okay. So the reason I want to talk about Sheridan, and so this is where it gets a little bit complicated, because when you go by county and then you go by township. So let me pull up this. First, we're going to start off by looking at what is Sheridan. Okay, so there's a really great website. Can you see that? Hopefully that pops up. Okay. Sheridan, Indiana. This is a great website. It's called Data USA. And so this kind of goes through 33, 55. Now, that was the consensus back in 2023. I think because of the pandemic, I think there's a lot of people who lived, I feel like I want to push this further away from me, that lived in, say, the bigger cities, Carmel, Fishers, Westfield, Noblesville, that liked the smaller town and finally said, okay, I'm done with all this traffic. I say all this traffic. I don't actually think it's all that bad, but there's people who are kind of used to the small town feel, like the smaller feel and less traffic. And so they started to go out to Sheridan and Lebanon and Pendleton and some of those offskirts. Last week we talked about McCordsville, Fortville. That's one. McCordsville, Fortville's gotten much bigger now, so it's bigger than what Sheridan is. But if you're wanting kind of a smaller town, Sheridan's great. Kind of just talks about the median age is 40, household income 65,000, median property values is 177. So you can definitely see a huge difference between a Sheridan or a Fishers. But this is a great website. I recommend anybody go to this website because it talks about population and diversity, global diversity, foreign-born population, military economy, employment. Like, this is a great website to kind of see, like, would you fit in this area? I think anybody would fit in there, but it kind of goes into all of the stuff. Okay. So there's Sheridan. Now I want to show you what, the school districts, because I think this is a big aspect into understanding the area or the mass. Okay. So if I don't know why I'm doing that. Let me scroll down a little bit. We're going to zoom in. So that's Carmel. Okay. If you can see that. That's Carmel. So you can kind of get an idea size. That's Fishers. That's Noblesville. I love that Noblesville and Westfield are just boxes. But look at Sheridan. That's Noblesville. Sheridan is, from a land mass perspective, and that's really what happened to Fishers. Fishers, for the most part, is a really big land mass. It's really not as big as Sheridan. Sheridan's even bigger, but it's not as congested in Sheridan yet. I say yet because I think over the next 50 to 100 years, I think you're going to really see places like Sheridan, and this is Cicero, so Hamilton Heights. Lebanon is one that I mentioned. Lapel, this is Frankton Lapel. And then that Fortville, Mount Vernon. So see how that's Pendleton, and then Mount Vernon's not even that big. Like, it's almost probably about the same size, if not a little bit smaller than Fishers, but then Noblesville and Westfield are kind of tiny. And then you've got Sheridan, which is big. So I think that there's a lot of developers, especially from a new build perspective, that are going to be start looking really at Sheridan as a place to go, okay, we're almost pushed out of Zionsville and Carmel. Like, finding new construction in both of those areas is slim pickings. In Zionsville, at this point, it's almost really only custom. Westfield, you do have builders there, but it's still, the price point is pushing quite high. And so then there's Sheridan. So I kind of wanted to show you this map because I think it's a really great representation of a land mass of Sheridan, what's going on there, and what the what it looks like, so to speak. So then if I go to okay, Hamilton County. So we've clicked Hamilton County, right? So Hamilton County, again, I look at that median price of what we were looking at when we were looking over here at Sheridan, right? See, the median property value is 177. If I go back over to here, the median Hamilton County is 464. So it's definitely lower on the aspect of that whole area. And then I actually don't know what township technically Sheridan is in. Does it say? because I'm so used to it being Sheridan schools. Let's see. I'm going to let you look at this while I go over here real quick and search. Adams. I knew that. I don't know why, you guys. I don't know why I question that. It's in Adams. I knew that. Just brain fart. Okay. Huh? Beth. Adam says it's the best name. I don't know why I can't. Okay. So we're going to go Adams. So Adams median sales price is $342. So almost $100,000 less than what Hamilton County is, right? And if I look at, again, I can flip through these. So like if I click Hamilton, let's unclick Adams. Hamilton, I don't know why it's, sorry, not Hamilton. Fall Creek, Fishers is complex. I think I've probably said this before. That's why it gets really complicated and why sometimes you have to have Fishers, Wayne, and Fall, Delaware. Thank you. So Fishers is at 420. So you can see that's the difference. And then if I undo all of those and I go Clay, which is Carmel, its average is at 605. I mean, currently right now, Fishers is even considerably less than there. And then if we go Westfield, which is it's West Washington, but there's also Washington Township. So just be aware of that. It's $499. And so you can see the difference. So if you want kind of Westfield, but maybe you want to go you're willing to go a little bit more north to save yourself a ton of money, that's when you go to Adams. Okay, so 342. So I think that's a huge difference. And that's something that, again, I wanted to talk about because I do think Sheridan is kind of going to be that next spot. And so if you're kind of sitting here going, okay, I want to buy something a little bit less. I don't want to spend as much. I'm fine with being a little bit further out, especially if maybe you work from home or you don't have to go into the office as much. Or if you have a job in Westfield, buy in Sheridan, make the 15-minute drive, save yourself $100,000 and know that your value is probably going to considerably go up, especially as it gets built out, right? Because Sheridan's going to get better. So then what I wanted to do is I wanted to kind of show you, okay, what houses are there in Sheridan, right? Because it would be nice to know what can you get in Sheridan currently. One of the downsides at this point about Sheridan is the fact that there's not a whole lot of homes. So currently right now, and I'm not going to go backwards on this, but currently right now, actually what I can do is I can show you kind of the behind the scenes. So this is what I do when I have somebody that says, hey, I want to look at I want to know how many homes there are in the Sheridan school district. So Sheridan Community Schools, there's currently 17. So see how that popped up with 17. So there's only 17 homes in all of this school district. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not that far of a drive. It's getting a new water park. I mean, it's an up and coming area that I think that there's a lot of potential. So there aren't that many houses that are in the lower income range because there just aren't as many houses. But I think builders are starting to build out there so that there's potential. So here's one. It's a new build construction in Center Place. It's listed for $376,000, but it is a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2,300 square foot home, brand new. This same house, if you built this and you built it, say in Fishers, this same house is going to be 500, 475. Like, it's amazing at what that's going to cost you if you move, or you can't even actually even build this in Fishers at this point. You're going to have to honestly be buying resale. And the resale value on this is going to be higher in, I can't say Hamilton County, in the core 4. We're just going to call them the core 4. you're going to be spending more, or it's going to just be a lot older and you're not getting a brand new house. And so I wanted to kind of flip through these. Cute little house. They've put cardboard down so that they keep the floors nice and clean. And then they're still working. It's not done. So this is a spec home. The benefit is that it's almost essentially move-in ready. With usually on the listing on my end of things, I can see when the construction is going to be done. But this is a great example of a property. I love when they do the floor plan. So you've got the front porch, you've got a study on the right-hand side, a half bath, you've got stairs upstairs, and then you've got this nice big open kitchen with a dining and a great room. And then as you go upstairs, you've got 4 bedrooms with a loft. And these rooms are pretty big. So a 14 by 16, 11, 11, 10 by 12, and 10 by 13. This is interesting. This is the first time I've noticed this, you guys. They're not calling any of them a primary bedroom. So we can't call them master bedrooms anymore. They're primary bedrooms, which I love that. I actually think I actually think it's a good representation of that, because this is the primary bedroom and then you have your 3 secondary bedrooms. And so now they don't even put, it's just bedroom 1, bedroom 2, bedroom 3, and bedroom 4. And then you have a study. So this is a great house because you have multiple spaces, for bedrooms, offices. Many people are now working from home. And so they or a spouse, or if, let's say, this is a great investment property as well. Say you have graduated college, you've saved up enough money, and you can put a down payment on a house. Rent this sucker out, buy this house, you have the primary bedroom, and then rent the rooms out where they are, in a sense, helping pay for your mortgage. Love this idea. I'm trying to get my kids to go full on board with this. Anyway, so that kind of gives you an example. And then, so this is D.R. Horton, but it shows you what the options are. So you saw some of the options of the downstairs. It's a traditional house, right? It's got all of the, the cream or white cabinets, the light colored floors, stainless steel appliances. So it's a great little property. See, it's actually got quite a few properties already built. You've got a cul-de-sac and some more properties that are still being built out. I think it's a great little community here in Sheridan, Indiana. That's a horrible picture of a sign. City limits. I don't know. Twin Kiss. That's apparently a local hotspot. I've never been to Twin Kiss, but now this makes me want to go to Twin Kiss and get twin kisses. I have twins. I should do a picture where they're kissing me. Okay. Anyways, I know I'm lame. There is a downtown Sheridan. This is one of the reasons why I really like this, is because I think, again, with it being an up and coming little town, you have little mom and pop shops. So great. I love that this agent actually is showing that. And actually, what made me think of Sheridan is my son is a high jumper, and we had county the other day, and this kid from Sheridan came and got first place and destroyed it. I don't know if that was county or if that was sectionals. Adam says it was sectionals. Anyways, this kid from Sheridan came and beat everybody in high jump. And I was like, where is he from? And they said Sheridan. And I was like, yes, he is. Yes, Sheridan. Love it. So don't rule Sheridan out. I think it's a great little community, and I think it has a lot of potential. Okay. Secondarily, there is also high end in Sheridan, which sometimes you just don't know what you're going to get in Sheridan. And I thought this was a great other little property that popped up here that I was like, okay, this is cute. If you're looking for land, one of the questions we get a lot of times is I'll have somebody call me that says, hey, we want to live in Hamilton County, but we want land. And my response is always, you're going to have to go further out, because finding land in Fishers or Carmel or Noblesville, you have a little bit of a better chance. And even in Westville, you do too. But it's going to be really expensive. Land is pricey right now in Hamilton County. And so here's a property where it is, do you see this, you guys? 7 bedrooms. 7 bedrooms. You have all of the space for all you aunts, uncles, nephews. Everybody can live with you. Friends, Don't have family? Invite all of your friends. Choose your family, as you would call it. I love that. Okay. But look, it's on land and look at all the different buildings. So I saw this and I was like, okay, this is cute. You get a picture of a butterfly and a rainbow because you don't get butterflies or rainbows in Fishers, Noblesville, Westfield, or Carmel. You get them out in Sheridan. Look at that barn. I don't know why this is blowing up on my screen. But look at this cute little house. I mean, character. I want to go tour it. It's so cute. It's old, you guys. And they still have their Christmas tree up. Might as well just keep your Christmas tree up year round. Wood beams, wood trim. This house, look at those cabinets. It still has the old, it's like almost like a paneled cabinet. I actually think these to a certain extent are coming back with a little bit more of a modern feel, but I love it. Look at that. They've got a little porch. Look at that porch. Go out, read a book, do some homeschooling. Yes. This must have been, these pictures were taken in the wintertime because there's still snow on the ground with some of the pictures. It's got an upstairs space. One of the things I hate when people, this is why it goes to big. It's because that's a vertical picture versus a horizontal picture. Only take horizontal pictures. Don't take vertical pictures. It actually is worse even on the phone. It's not great from a consumer forward experience. It's not great. So I always recommend you just keep it one way so that it's seamless. It doesn't confuse the algorithm because it's wonky. It's got a basement. Usually with a home this age, we call it a dungeon, but there's actually light that comes into this. Okay, this is also block, so you're probably going to have some moisture in the basement because it is a block basement. It is what it is. You're definitely going to do a sewer scope on this. You're definitely going to do a radon test on this. Like those are things that you definitely, when you have older properties, you're going to do that. But you've got multiple outbuildings, a barn. You guys, you could have horses and goats. Who needs an Agripark when you can have an Agripark at your own house? It's right there. Just see, animals are right there. I've tried to convince Adam. Part of me loves living out in the middle of nowhere. Look, I can just put my camper right out there. This is where Adam and I disagree. Okay, here we go. He refuses to live on land. I've always wanted to. I think there's a part of me that just loves nature. That's why I got a bird feeder. And I've never liked birds. I used to never like flowers. I like flowers now. But you have your own little like Brown County, no hills, but you can have, your friends can come and stay in their camper on your property. I love this. Just makes me look, hammock. You can have your family reunion here and everybody can show up. And again, you can pick your family. It doesn't actually have to be family. It can just be a group of friends, a group of farming friends, or just friends. I love this. This is a second, you could rent this out. You can make income on this second building. Anyways, you guys, this is why I liked this, is because it gives you options on if you don't want to be in the hustle bustle of Hamilton counties, Fishers, Carmel, Westfield, Noblesville, then move out to the boondocks, to BFE. This is where you're at, BFE. It's out in the middle of nowhere and you've got cornfields all around you and you can there are people that this is their thing, not my husband's. I'd do it. I'd come and visit. I'll just come and visit you if you want to go see it. But this house is $735,000, 7 bedrooms. That's because it's between 2 houses, just so you know, because there's that extra building. 3,600 square feet. I think it's a great area. If we zoom out so you can kind of see where it is in conjunction to Westfield. So see, this is Carmel, Westfield. You're pretty far out there, but it's still Sheridan School District. So that's really great. Especially if say you work or you have family in Lafayette, or you want to go between Lafayette and downtown Indianapolis. It's a great location. It's a good spot to be in. Or if Kokomo is another great one, if you want to be between Carmel, Westfield, and Kokomo, this is a great spot. So anyways, I digress. I just want to give you the viewer, an alternative option to. It doesn't have to be just Fishers, Nobles, Carmel, Westfield. Yes, we talk about those areas a lot because, well, one, they're really great areas, but Sheridan is a really great area. Again, even looking at this, that Sheridan, Atlanta, Arcadia, Cicero, Lebanon, Frank, and like this whole area is still Hamilton County and still a great area. And I think a lot of people are going to kind of push out to those areas. So we went a little bit of a different direction today, but I think that it gives you an idea of what there is in this area. It doesn't have to just be one thing or the other, but it gives you a good option. So anyways, that's it for me on today's drive around our, so to speak, roundabout. I don't know if we like that or don't like that. Leave me a comment below if you're like, Cameron, that's really obnoxious. I actually don't care if it's obnoxious. I think it's fun because we have so many roundabouts and they literally are popping up everywhere. Always thank you for watching. Also, friendly reminder that we ask that you like and subscribe so you get notified when we're going live or have posted a new video. We're trying some new things out. We're trying to feel out what's best for you, the viewer, and how we can make this a better channel, because I want to get better at this. So make sure to like and subscribe. And if there's a topic that you like, again, send me a message. Hey, Cameron, there's this topic XYZ that I'd love you to talk about. Will you talk about that? Sure. I'll give you my opinion of it. If I think it's going to be good or if I think it's going to be bad. I think Sheridan's Waterpark is going to be great. I think construction on 32 is going to suck. Just kind of gives you my opinion of what I think is going to happen and how it's going to affect everything. So hopefully you enjoyed today's episode. I went a little bit long. Sorry about the disconnect of the screen and everything, but hopefully you enjoyed your time. I just realized I didn't remove that. So you've been looking at me on this little bitty screen. But I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, let us know. And we'll catch you in 2 weeks, where in 2 weeks, I'll actually have more data, because data comes out at the beginning of the month. So next time I'll have more data of Hamilton County, how it's moved from that, April to May, that May to June. So anyways, hope you have a great week and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye. 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 Always sounds funny when I say bye. Bye.